we're here with Jack Hanks. My name is Stephanie Pouse. I'm one of the co-founders for Brahma Roofing and Construction, and we're working with local homeowners right in our backyard. We're based in Colorado to be able to help them find some relief after the Marshall Fire. So today we're going to be focusing on some frequently asked questions that we're getting and just some really helpful information that we think will be able to assist you guys in navigating what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and let Jack introduce himself and how he plays into this equation.
Hi guys, Jack Hanks. I'm a licensed public adjuster in 38 states, including Colorado. I am the CEO and founder of Velocity Public Adjusting. I've been doing insurance restoration and specifically fire claims since 1989. So we have a great handle on this, and we want to answer all your questions and get you guys the proper help y'all need. So I appreciate being invited on this podcast. We're ready to answer some questions. So let's go.
All right, Jack. So one of the things that are coming into mind now that we're about a month or so out from when the fires occurred, what's the number one thing that you think homeowners should be doing after experiencing a loss like they experienced with the Marshall Fire?
Well, I mean, the first month is it's pretty traumatic, right? You experience a lot of emotional roller coasters, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of anger, hostility. You're upset. So the biggest thing I tell our clients is get settled. Find that local home you can guys move into and get settled and try to rebuild your life. Get back to work, get the kids back in school, try to focus on the daily activities of your routine again, get back in the gym, things like that. So once the initial shock and just emotions run through the gamut, it's time to start making some business decisions on your home or your business, because that's in fact what this is going to turn into. It's a contractual agreement you guys have with your insurance company. So they're acting as a business, and it's time that the emotions kind of take aside and you start making some good, rational, smart business decisions, because you have one chance to get this right. And unfortunately, the last 30 some years, I've seen a lot of families suffer unjustly because they weren't taken care of properly or didn't have the right tools in front of them. So it's time to kind of settle in and get the routine. And then once again, like I said, it's a business thing now. It's not about the fire anymore. It's about making good decisions for your family. So,
well, and that leads to a really interesting point too, because a lot of people have been staying with friends or family for the weeks leading up to immediately after the loss. And in order to really get back into your routine, at least for myself, you need a spot to be able to go that's yours, right? And you don't have your home. And you have friends and family, if you're lucky enough, that are willing and offering. So what would be that step for them to be able to, if they haven't done so already, get a more permanent living solution for their family in that area? Because that's where the kids are going to school. That's where they have activities. So what does that step look like?
So in the policies, every policy has what's called additional living expenses. So basically in your policy, the carrier owes you, if you had a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house that burned, the carrier is going to owe you to put you in a very similar facility to that. Now, keep in mind, the problem a lot of these consumers are going to have is the entire neighborhood's gone, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to have to get out of their comfort zone a little bit. But at the same time, once again, you need to start looking for a rental home for at least a year, which is going to be a shock to a lot of people, but they're in this for a long haul to find a home, get moved in, get your clothes repurchased, start reliving your life, because unfortunately, these when you have these big devastation fires and events like this that you guys went through, it's a long haul, man. It's not a 30, 60-day process. You're looking at a year or two till people can get their lives fully back together, get moved home, and get their houses rebuilt. So patience is a big thing, but also, like I said, find something. And carriers, as well as my team, we have companies that specialize in housing searches, right? So you get connected with the right people. They're going to run the comps. They're going to find you stuff, but it's going to be very first come, first serve, because I think there's over 1,000 homes, right?
Yeah.
That were gone. So there's 1,000 rental. Then, and the market's crazy already, right? The rental market and the home market itself is insane, especially in Denver and
Louisville area.
Yeah, it's horrible. So quicker the better. Don't get left in the lurch, because the carrier is going to want to find something similar, and they're not going to overpay, right? So they're going to have to find something appropriate. So speed is the essence now, and like I said, get the shock and emotions over with. Let's start making some good decisions to get everybody healthy and kind of back in their groove. They may not be in their same neighborhood anymore, which is going to be difficult. But if they are trapped, now one good thing about the policy, the key word on this thing, it's called additional living expenses. So if you're traveling an extra 20, 30, 40 miles every day because of this, there are some reimbursements due to you guys for that extra time and things like that for travel. So the key word in the policy is the word additional. If you spend $50 a day for food normally, and now you're spending 100, you don't get the full 100, you get the difference, the 50, right? So there's a lot of little nuances like that people have to be very aware of. Save those receipts, save those expenses.
Well, that was the first question would be, when you're looking at being able to get the additional living. So you're saying, okay, I have to be able to find a place to live for my family and myself to be able to get back to some normalcy. There's a lot of front end expenses associated with that. So, any sort of short-term rental, they usually say, most often they'll say, okay, hey, this is what it's going to cost. And so we're charging you X amount upfront. Or if they're looking for a long-term rental, there's obviously upfront costs associated with that. But what is the turnaround? Because if you have someone who says, okay, let's just say it's $5,000 in 1 month, and that's $5,000 that they're not used to spending on a monthly basis. So they put that on their credit card.
Yep.
And then now they're not able to pay it off right away because that's outside of what their budget is, and they're accumulating interest or things like that. Does that all tie into the coverage that you're able to help them with throughout the process? Because there's a lot of complexities in what that looks like that a lot of people don't think about.
So yes, to answer your question, yes, they should be reimbursed for any interest incurred. However, what we usually do with our clients is we set them up with housing and set up a direct billing. So the carrier will pay the landlord directly, right? Because most people, 99% of us can't afford an extra $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
So big thing I know people have questions about, you still have to pay your mortgage, right?
Yes.
Even though your house is burned to the ground, unfortunately, or it's partially damaged, your mortgage is still due on the first. The mortgage company does not care if your house, if you're living there or not. That mortgage is still due, right? So you got a mortgage payment and a rental payment now. So what we do with our clients, we set up a direct bill. We have services that will find them a home, and we'll set up a direct billing. So that money is going to go right from the carrier. They're going to ACH it right to the property management company, and they're done. The deposits, everything else will be taken care of. That way, these homeowners aren't dumping out 10, 15, 20, sometimes 20 grand to get situated and moved, right?
Well, because that's just complexities, right? Like you're talking about, you're making the process becomes more complex because there's more transactions that you're dealing with.
Well, yeah, you're upside down anyway. Like I said, you're trying to scramble your kids and you're out, you don't have any clothes. It's a lot, right? So the whole idea is to get this thing down to a routine, get your routine back, get settled in, right? And so the easier we can do things to make it for the clients, the better. And then once again, the carrier is not going to bring these things to light unless they're asked to. So they're there. The biggest thing too, the carrier is there to make money, not to pay claims. So our job, your job, people's jobs around them is to get the appropriate coverage established. These people can get their home, get their lives back together, man. So it's just essential. And it's, there's no easy way out. There's no easy straight line to success. It's just a lot of hard work and a grind. And the biggest thing I tell my client, it's an emotional, it's those 7 stages of grief, right? The anger, frustration, sadness, all those things are going to hit these guys. And if it hasn't hit them yet, there'll be a time in a month or two, they're like, oh my God. Right. And so that's a big deal.
Well, and that's the benefit too. So the benefit of being able to work with a team that has resources, so being able to work with someone like us to be able to pull in people like you and your team, the benefit there is, 2 main takeaways from this initial question would be, number one thing is obviously trying to establish some sense of normalcy. And part of that is your living situation. So a big takeaway that we just talked about was continuing to pay your mortgage, which is something that's a big one because you don't want to get in trouble with your mortgage company. So continuing to pay,
you're still going to pay your insurance premiums as well, right?
Yeah. So you're continuing to pay all of what your bills would be, but making sure that when you're able to work with a public adjuster, like Jack, for example, those little nuances of being able to set up the billing directly from your insurance carrier to the person that you're renting from, so that you don't have to mess with the intricacies of what that transaction looks like.
Right.
So that's just another added bonus of being able to have someone on early on, because those are things that people don't know. So if you come in 8 months down the road, when someone's thinking about, hey, we're ready to start building now, 8 months down the road, they just had 8 months of all that, maybe conflict, maybe not conflict, but all of these transactions that didn't necessarily need to take up any of their mental space. So
Correct.
One main takeaway here is continue to pay your mortgage, and knowing that you do not have to be the liaison between your insurance company and your new landlord for where you're living for the time being.
Correct. They'll take the burden off of the consumer. Once again, their job is to get their family stable. Hire people around you to get this stuff done, because these things they're very complex, and hiring the right team is the key to this thing, 100%. Anyway, hey, thanks for having me on today. It's very important. I can't stress enough the importance of getting these fire claims handled properly up front. I've seen many families and businesses never recover, and it's sad. You guys have a great opportunity to do it right, get the right people involved. We're ready to roll. My phone number is 480-766-6565. It's on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have an office up in Westminster. We're ready to handle these claims and help you guys. If you want to send me the policy for a free review, my team will be glad to read that thing and give you the nooks and crannies of that thing. No cost whatsoever. It's all about doing the right thing for the community and getting you guys happy and healthy and getting you guys moved back home.
Yeah, I second everything that Jack said. I think that that's really important, just to recognize that, especially over here at Brahma Roofing and Construction, you guys are right in our backyard. We're up in the Windsor, Fort Collins area. And so for us, it's really focusing on being able to make sure that we do right by our community. And we just want to make sure that we're able to be a really positive educational resource for you. And this is why we've put together this, conversation with Jack, to be able to just make sure that we're getting you really real information that you can take away. You have some tangible stuff to walk away with, some really clear next steps. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to give us a call. Brahma Roofing Construction, we'll make sure that we'll be able to get your questions answered for you. Like I said, we're happy to be a resource. So sending you all well wishes. And if you need anything, both Jack and our team are here.